Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Todd coming at you with another awesome episode of Living Your Best Life. And as always, I just want to say thank you so much for giving us some of your time this evening, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are in the world right now. But anyway, like I said, thank you so much. Now, if you don't know what we're doing on the show, I'm getting ready to tell you. Now, what we do on the show is we invite professionals on to talk about what they do and how what they do is contributing to a healthier society, a wealthier society, just a better society in general. That's what we do on the show. And we bring these people to you. They're out there in the trenches helping people live their best lives. Now, today, if you are a female, especially, you want to really take out your notes and grab some of this information. But even if you are a male, you want to definitely listen in because you'll benefit from this. And definitely if you're married, your wife and you both will benefit from this show because we're going to be talking about menopausal weight gain and menopausal weight loss. Is it possible? Can it be done? That's the question. And our professional on, Miss Lori Lynn of Lori Lynn Coaching, she's going to come on and talk about the weight loss situation or the weight gain situation that a lot of women, when they reach a certain age through menopause, they seem to experience. So she has some strategies, and I want you all to take out your notes, like I said, and write down some of these tips and strategies that she's going to provide. But even more so, get in contact with her at LoriLynnCoaching.com. But anyway, that's that. Now, right quick, what are we promoting? We're always promoting something. Of course, Well Beyond 50. Go to the website, wellbeyond50.com. 50 foods we should stop eating after the age of 50. And if we can't stop eating everything after the age of 50, at least drastically reduce a lot of those foods. But also, we're hosting a challenge this week that we kicked off not too long ago, or the idea we kicked off. The challenge is coming up in the next few weeks. I'll let everybody know, but it's the Well Beyond 50 Reset, okay? And I want you to also visit the website, the Well Beyond 50 Reset.com website, just to get some information as far as what we're doing on that challenge. It's a 4-week challenge and designed to really just whip you into shape, okay, mindset, nutrition-wise, and also physically over 4 weeks. Alrighty, so everyone, that's that. Wellbeyond50.com and also the Wellbeyond50 Reset, okay.com. All right, so listen, everybody, check that out. And Lori Lynn on the other side of the commercial here. Y'all take care. Peace. So welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Living Your Best Life. So like the commercial said, listen, we are promoting our Well Beyond 50 campaign right now. So please visit the website, wellbeyond50.com, and download the 50 foods that we should not be eating after the age of 50. And if you're not eating them, if you can't eat them, at least reduce them. All right. So that's what I hope you can do. So like I said, just go by the website and download that list. All righty. So listen, today, everyone, we have an awesome lady. I had an awesome time speaking with her a little while back. And it's been hard for us to kind of connect our schedules, but I finally got her today, and you're going to be so thrilled because as we are approaching, or was we already in 2025, the years just keep coming. And as the years come, the body changes. And of course, like I just said, well beyond 50. And for men, it's kind of a, we feel some of the growing pains, as we approach 50 and beyond. But women, they feel it also, but in a different way. And we probably feel it in some ways too, but not in the way that they feel it. So we're going to have Lori Lynn of Lori Lynn Coaching come on and talk to us about menopause, getting older, and how to overcome some of the challenges for the ladies out there. So ladies, listen, get your notebooks out, take these notes, get this knowledge, because Coach Lori Lynn is going to be talking to us about how to live our best lives, even when we're dealing with menopause. So thank you so much for coming onto the show, Lori. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing awesome. So, like I said, I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to kind of like finally connect. It's been a
Mm-hmm.
challenge, but like I said, thank you so much for hanging out with us and everything.
And
So,
well,
but why don't we
yeah,
just go?
thank you for
Yeah, why don't
allowing
we
me
just go?
to, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it, Lori? I want my audience to kind of like get an understanding of who you are, what you
Mhm.
do, and why you do it.
Well, my name is Lori, Lori Land Coaching, and I am a midlife weight loss coach for women who are entering menopause or beyond menopause. So, for a backstory, I ended up going through menopause myself, and I gained a lot of weight between the ages of 40 and 55. I was about an extra 15 pounds I ended up gaining, and I ended up being very sore, knee pain, hip pain, feet pain, hard to walk, and I just realized I needed to lose some weight. So I ended up listening to a podcast regarding the mindset and understanding that it's your thinking that really changes your life, in the sense of, well, I used to say the sentence that I'm never going to lose this weight after I have kids. And sure enough, I did lose the weight, but it did take me some time to understand that it was the mental thinking of that sentence that stopped me from losing that weight, because I stopped myself in that tracks like, well, I'll never lose that weight. And I was so certain that I wasn't going to lose that weight. But after seeing and getting coached and realizing the power of our mind and power of having a coach really does play a role. When you stop yourself from saying the words, I can't, I will never be able to, it really stops you. And you're going to end up being on that same hamster wheel over and over and over again, and you just won't lose that weight. So I decided, once I started getting coached, I did lose all that weight. Plus, I lost all the extra weight that I gained from having kids. So before I had kids, I think it was about 118, 120 pounds, 120 pounds or something like that. And I am now 120 pounds again. I'd never thought I was ever going to be able to do it. And I did. But it took me about 2 years to regain that weight, going all the way down. But it was those sentences that really stopped me. So, and I really just want to help other women that, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it too.
Right.
And it is the mindset and understanding that, wow, I'm not really connecting my mind to my body. And I really wasn't paying attention to what was going on with me. I didn't understand the hunger scale. I was eating when I wasn't even hungry. Like, I would have thoughts like, I have to eat. Like, first thing in the morning, I would be like getting ready to go to work and go, okay, what am I going to eat? What I need to make for breakfast? What do I need to make for lunch? And I had a lot of food anxiety and a lot just anxiety in general. And realizing it was a social conditioning thinking that I was in the sense of I was not really tuning into my body and just taking the chance of, oh, wait a minute, am I really hungry? Why am I eating if I'm not hungry? And just understanding the connection between the mind and the body is just, it is fascinating. And just learning to slow it down and just breathing it in and just asking yourself, because we don't question ourselves. We don't question those thoughts. The thinking that I had of I'll never be this weight really was an eye-opener, realizing to what I don't have to believe that if I don't want to. And I chose not to believe that thought, and just I'm going to look at my future self. What do I want to be like when I'm, 60, 65 years old? What do I image my body to be like? What's my health going to be like? What am I going to be able to run after my grandchildren? Just all those thoughts were starting to come into play, and realizing, wait a minute, I do have a choice. I don't have to always believe that same thought. And so that's how I ended up getting into coaching, is because there is no association between your brain and your body.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like what I always think of is mood and food. Like our mood really does play a role as well. What do we do when we're stressed? What do we do when we're saddened? Do a lot of people go into the refrigerator to look for food? Because I know I do. When I'm stressed, I might go to, say, a bag of chips or alcohol or something to that nature, versus if I am, say, bored. Well, I'd rather go for something sweet like a chocolate bar. And there is a difference, I find, in your mood. If you had a really crappy day, a lot of times you're going to end up overeating and not realizing I'm not even hungry. So yeah, and there's just, our bodies are not designed to constantly consume.
Right.
And we do.
Right.
We do. For some reason, we just consume.
So it used to be, when I was, or younger, of course, it was always about 3 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think it could be 3 meals a day now, fine. But now it's the amount of processed 3 meals a day that you're eating also. So that plays a part into it. And then, you have the snacking in between that, and the types of snacking that you do between those 3 meals. So you're right. So much of our lives is consumed by food, and we're looking forward to the next day, or what we're going to have for lunch, or what are we going to have for breakfast, and all of these things. I find myself doing the same thing, because we become, I don't know if the word is addictive or whatever, but certain foods, yes, have that addictive type of chemical lying in it. And so yes, it can become addictive, but congratulations, on
Thank you.
finding your rhythm of of your life, and
Yeah.
not be pretty much following the rhythm of over here and listening, going by that chatter. And also find it fascinating too, because it's something that I often speak about, is mindset. Now, the question I do have for you, with that I can't mindset, when you were in that space, were you working out, or was that pretty much determining how your day went physically wise also?
When I used to say the word I can't, I would end up saying, well, I can't lose this weight, or I can't go to the gym today because of dot, 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 dot. I would always make some form of excuse that I can't achieve that goal. And that one word, can't, is just so detrimental to your goal setting and just your overall health in general, whatever you want to do in life. But yeah, that word I can't, or I would postpone, because I'm like an avoider. So I would push things to the next day. Oh, I can't do it today because of this, so I'll do it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow will come, and again, it would be the same thing. Well, I can't do that because so-and-so needs me to go and do this. So you end up getting into a rhythm and you just never do it. It is a sentence that I call the I can't diet, meaning I am eliminating that word from my life completely. And if you try it for 1 week, it's amazing to see that word pops into your head. Oh, I just said that word. Oh, okay, do I really, I can't really do it? Is that really true? Like, is that true that I can't do that, or I can't achieve it, or I can't lose that weight? It isn't
Yeah.
true. It
Yeah.
really isn't. It's just that mindset of thinking and trying to overcome and recognizing it is a first awareness is that word, I can't, is a very limiting belief.
I guess also you have to be ready for this too, because
Yeah.
this is not an overnight thing. I'm assuming that
No,
yeah.
definitely not. I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to self-help books and understanding just me in general. And like, well, why am I so heavy? Why can't I lose this weight? You know, that
Mhm.
all these thinking and realizing it is a choice, but we don't think it's a choice. We just think it's a matter of fact.
Mhm.
And we don't question our own thinking.
Yeah.
Not alone anyone else's thinking, but we don't
Yeah.
question our own thinking. And so if you don't question your own self, how can you achieve what you want to achieve?
Yeah.
So
Did you
the
ever?
first step is awareness.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that because I mean,
Yeah.
it seemed like that's going to be the foundation.
100%.
Is self-awareness. Yeah, and because, like you said, we don't question it. Uh, I think a lot of times because we're afraid of what we're going to find, that it's
Mhm.
really all on me.
Exactly. Yes.
You know,
The first
yes, it's
the first part of my program is all about understanding all of your negative side and all your saboteur thinking. Like the judge, I judge myself so harshly. You know, we judge our circumstance. I know some people might have said, oh, I've gained weight because of COVID, as an example. Well, is it
mhm.
really COVID? Or is it your
Yeah,
thinking about it? Right?
yeah,
There's a distinction between that and judging yourself, like, oh, I can't do that. And you dismissed yourself. But if you were your best friend, would you say that? You would not.
right, right.
You have to treat yourself like your best friend. And as soon as I understood that you have to treat yourself like your own best friend, things just started realizing, oh, wait a minute, I do have a choice here. So it's just, and we just don't give ourselves that self-love at all. You
Yeah,
know,
and it's hard
it is.
because we've been conditioned not to. I think anyway.
In a lot of times, because there's a lot of things that we've said or we've heard in the past as children. You have to eat everything on your plate. There's so
Mhm.
subtle hidden messages that we have grown up with that we just take as truths,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And
yeah.
they're all hidden messages within us,
And we carry
you
that
know.
along
We
with us
do.
into our adult lives until we face that onion and learn to peel some of it back. I was speaking with
Exactly.
a practitioner the other day, and one of her areas is the NLP, and I think it's neuro linguistic programming.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were talking about things that we were taught or told as we, like you said, eat everything on your food. And that's one of the things that I kind of like, even though I hated okra coming up, and I still to this day, my mom was like, you better eat that, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I hate this food. And, and so as when we were kids, and I don't know how it is in your area of the world, because you're in the Canada areas,
Mm-hmm.
but as kids, we weren't as addicted to food. We didn't plan our lives and our days around food. We couldn't wait to push away from the kitchen table to get outside and, play again.
Exactly.
Yeah. But now, we do find it, definitely, and even for kids now, they're finding it more challenging to push away from the kitchen table. And if they are pushing away from the kitchen table, they're not going outside and playing, they're going to a video
Mm-hmm.
game. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like knocking down, our countries and our world's youths, but that is the reality of most of our young people nowadays. And so when they're going to play those games, they're, got some kind of a snack that they're, eating on or what have you. So, but when it comes to women, And when it comes to menopause, this is a whole other type of, situation that you ladies are dealing with. Like I said in the intro, yeah, we all, even men, we go through our ups and our growing pains, aging pains,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all of those things. But as I watched my wife deal with menopause, as I you know this is a real journey for her,
It
and
is.
yeah, and very new, of course, but it's something that is most women will have to experience, and but the weight gain thing is really a problem, as I run into quite a few women in my line of business that are at that menopause phase, a
Mm-hmm.
stage that cannot lose the weight. So you're saying that this is a lot of times a tweaking of the conversation and mindset.
Exactly. It is tweaking. And the reason why you're tweaking it is our bodies, when we start going into menopause, we're losing hormones, right? We
Mhm.
lose our estrogen and all that kind of stuff. So what's happening is as we age, my old doctor that I had in another city that I lived in, one of the things that he said to me, he goes, there's only three things that you can do to lose weight. You eat less, you exercise more, or you do both. He
Mm.
says, as we age, we are, if you're you have a brand new car, but now your car is getting older. So now you are, a classic. So you're a 20-year-old car now. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you're a 20-year-old car, you need to have some maintenance and things start getting a little sluggish. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're a little sluggish, your metabolism does slow down a little bit, and we end up gaining approximately, 1 to 2 pounds a year from once we hit 40 and up. Now, we might not be doing anything different. You might not be eating any different, so you're probably not reducing the food or watching your portion size. You're probably not exercising as much. So when you're having that combination, you keep things the same, but as we age, the weight's going to start piling up. Our
Mm-hmm.
internal bodies are changing. So that's when that weight gain's there. So now you got to look at, okay, well, if I'm gaining weight, what can I do that's different? Is it reducing the calories? Is it the eating window? Are you snacking all the time? Are you a midnight snacker? What kind of eating habits do you have? Are you eating when you're hungry? Are
Mm-hmm.
you, because if you're not hungry, then why are you eating? And just associating the mindset to your stomach and really paying attention to hunger. What is hunger? Well, hunger goes it's like a wave. It goes in waves about I don't know, every 20 minutes to every half an hour, something like that. But it will fluctuate. And we don't need to answer it on the beck and call. A lot of
Mm.
times what we do is soon as we feel the slightest hunger, we have to eat. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I got to go eat. Well, are you really hungry or are you thirsty? Let's try it out. Let's play around. Let's try something new every 2 weeks just to see what's going on. Is it something that you're not really paying attention to? Like the hunger scale. I teach the hunger scale. So how hungry are you? Are between the scale of a 1 to 10?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning 1, you're starving. 2, 10, you're stuffed like after a turkey
Yeah.
Thanksgiving meal, right? That kind of thing. So
Yeah.
you never want to be stuffed, but you never want to be starving. You kind of want to be in the middle.
Yeah.
And most people don't pay attention to say, oh, am I hungry enough to eat an apple? Well, if you're not hungry enough to eat an apple, then you're not really hungry.
Right.
And,
Right.
and if you want something else besides that apple, well, I'd rather have a bag of chips. Well, why are you wanting that bag of chips?
Yeah.
What are you feeling? Maybe it's a feeling thing that you need to investigate, and understanding that feeling. Oh, well, maybe I'm upset because I had a really bad day, and not really associating between the feeling and the feeling of hunger. Hunger is a feeling within your stomach, and it growls and stuff like that. But if it's an emotional hunger, then it's something that you're trying to mask and cover up and push away. You don't want to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
A feeling like an urge. Oh, I really want that bag of chips. Well, if you just allow that urge just to be there, what's wrong with just not answering that urge? A lot of times
Wow.
a lot of times we'll just go to that urge no matter what, instead of just sitting with that urge and allowing it to pass.
Yeah. You know, it's
And
interesting that you say that, because I'm sorry. At some points, you know, like in the mornings, my stomach, like when I wake up, maybe 15 minutes after I wake up, my stomach growls.
mhm,
And it's like clockwork almost.
yeah,
And so, but then it's kind of interesting because I have investigated it. I have investigated that to say, okay, now am I hungry, or is this kind of a habit that my stomach's used to doing?
exactly.
And, you know, and after a while, it goes away, 10 minutes or so, and it's fine. I'm not hungry, but so
Exactly.
you're absolutely right.
You don't hone into those signals. And when you got to listen to that body, and a lot of people are not drinking enough water.
Hmm.
So they probably associate. You also might be having something sugary the night before. So if you had something sugary, your insulin level is going to create you to be more hungry, believe it or
Hmm.
not.
Yeah.
You do feel more hungry after a sugary meal or a sugary snack. Those empty calories just isn't doesn't do you justice. But I'm not saying that you can't have anything sweet. It's
Yeah.
just understanding it, having awareness, and pre-plan. Yeah, I'll allow myself to, have some sweets, but sweets and treats are different,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
We nowadays finding sweets, they're everywhere. You go to every gas station, go to every grocery store, there's something at that cash out counter for you to grab. And if that little growl happens, sometimes you just go ahead and grab it. So
Hmm.
that's an action step that you decided you just thought, oh, I want it, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But are you? And you're not, people don't question themselves at all. Or stop that action
Hmm.
of what you're trying to do or accomplish. So yeah, it's fascinating to understand that the connection between your mind and body are really connected. We just
Yeah.
don't pay attention to our body enough
Wow.
to associate. Am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I tired? Do I just need to feel the boredom or sadness, and just to allow it to be there?
Wow. And that's a challenge
It
right there.
is.
That's a
And that's
challenge.
where coaching sometimes comes in.
Yeah, God, you mean I got to deal with this?
Exactly. And if you want to uncover that thinking, you have to find that one sentence at the very bottom that actually is stopping you
Yeah.
from taking that action or doing that action. So, and it's besides having willpower, you don't necessarily need willpower. You just need to understand your thinking and
Yeah.
be onto yourself and be truthful. A lot of people don't,
Right.
like you said, a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to see their own ugly. They don't want to
Yeah.
see that. They would rather avoid it. Oh, I don't. And it's
Hmm.
fear.
Hmm.
Fear of what? What are they fearing? That's the
That's the
question.
question. That's the question. What am I fearing? And I guess, if I were to ask myself that question, it's the fear of accepting myself,
Exactly.
of dealing with, my emotions. And, so like you were saying earlier with, your personality has been like, to be the avoider. And I think a lot of us are probably in that same, we'd rather, put our head in the sand and say, or cover our ears and close our eyes. It's not
Exactly.
happening.
Exactly.
And the world is burning down, around us. But this is very fascinating stuff that you're talking about because once again, I get exactly where you're coming from with regards to mindset and body-mind connection when it comes to food and building a better relationship with food. Now, something that I did want to ask you about in your journey and also your coaching is two more things. Sleep in terms of
Mm-hmm.
hormonal imbalancing or balancing rather, menopause, weight loss and or weight gain in that period while you're supposed to be sleeping. How did that work in your journey, and how does that work in your practice?
For sleeping, yes, you definitely need to have adequate sleep. Ideally, if you are deprived in sleep, you're going to have gravity to go towards food. It's just when you're tired, a lot of times you're just going to go on mindless fog eating. That's what I call fog eating, is
Mhm.
you'll end up being in that fog. But yes, sleep plays a huge, huge role. And establishing a nighttime routine is preferable.
Yeah.
Kind of limiting your social media news that triggers you. Anything that triggers you is going to keep that mind spinning at night.
Mm.
So limiting any type of news or anything of that nature, going into get away from the digital world would be ideal, maybe reading a book or whatever. But if not, at least choosing programs or whatever, if you're watching YouTube or TV or whatever it is, limiting to maybe something softer and gentle,
Hmm.
just to set you off on the right tone. I
Yeah.
also like to um, just personally, I actually try to make myself go into a dream state when I go to
Okay.
bed. In my opinion, I like to, instead of thinking about my day, I actually like to pre-plan and say, I'm going to take a trip down the river. And so I kind of try to make myself go into a dreamy like state is how I try
Wow.
to make myself fall asleep. And usually I do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is crucial to have a really good night's sleep.
Yeah.
It really is important to at least get your 7 to 9 hours a night,
Yeah.
ideally, and
And
keep at the same time,
yeah,
you
that
know.
same, yeah, I believe totally in the circadian rhythm of life, and trying not to work against that. Like I
Mm,
was alluding to earlier, when we were younger, we did things different. We stayed up all night, got up and went to
yeah.
work or whatever, the next morning we worked out, all those things, when we were younger. And, and I wish honestly, because when I was coming up, sleep, I had learned about, the, how people, and you had to stay on your grind constantly. So sleep was like something for people when they die. When
Yeah.
I'm dead, I'll sleep. That's, and I wish that, and that's how I was living. I was living that way. So I wish now that I could roll back the hands of time and capture some of that sleep. And because now I understand how it plays into your productivity, it plays into
Yes.
your mental state, it plays into your weight gain and or weight loss goals, your health state, all these things can be tied to how much quality sleep
Mm-hmm.
rest are you getting, on a nightly basis. So yeah, that's something that I stress to my people now is like, please, 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 like you say,
Yes.
turn off the digital world, as much as you can.
Turn it off. If it triggers you, it's not good for you. It's
Yeah,
not good for
yeah,
the mind. You need something that's a little bit more calming
yeah, yeah. And I
if
and
you want
I
to go to sleep.
yeah, if you want to go to sleep, and like I said, quality sleep is
Yeah.
is what it's all about. So the next thing I do want to talk about is in your journey to where you are now. Okay, so we know that food is the foundational part of what uh, uh, what you paid attention to and focused on in your journey and in your patients' protocols. Sleep is another one.
Yes.
Exercise. What kind of
Yes.
things do women that are in their menopausal states? What are the best types of exercises? If there are, I would love to know. My wife would love to know. Plus all the women in my network.
Yeah. So basically, in my anything that you love, you need to go and do.
Mm,
You need to love and the movement, whether it's dancing, whether it's going for a hike, exploring new things that you've never done before. Maybe for me, I started going into doing snowshoeing, and I absolutely love the peace and quiet. It's just,
mm,
there's something magical about that. And the crunching of the snow, there's something delicious about being in that fresh air and just doing something you've never done before and achieving, yes, I'm going to climb that mountain. And sure enough, I did. And I'm like, yeah, I did this, and it felt like an accomplishment. So just trying something new, doing something you love or you think you might love, and just move your body around.
yeah.
One of the things I love doing is turning on some music, and I cook dance.
Mm, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
so basically, I'm dancing around, making my dinner and singing a song, and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Have fun
Yeah.
with food and play around with food that's good to you and good for your soul.
Awesome.
Um, I, if you want to go to the gym and go to the gym, great. If you want a personal trainer, great. It's whatever works for you. And if it doesn't seem to work out, then say, okay, that I tried that. I don't like it. I move on to something else. And you keep moving on to something else. And
Yeah.
then you keep asking yourself, your future self, what would she do?
Mm,
How is she going to be and how is she going to treat herself? What kind of activities will she like to do when she's 65 years old? And just maybe try something new. Maybe it's pickleball. Maybe it's
yeah.
curling. Pick an activity. Maybe it's basketball that if you never tried before. Just pick something. Or maybe it's martial arts,
Yeah.
right? Just do something that you think you're going to enjoy doing at least 3 times a week.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Walking in the forest is even greater.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a big fan of walking.
yeah.
Um, that's something that, my wife and I, we try as much as we can, weather permitting, a lot of times,
Yep.
to get out and walk because the stress reduction that you get from walking, it's
And
amazing.
speaking of stress,
Yes.
that is a number one for stress carries on weight. Put it
Mm,
that way.
hmm. Yeah.
When that cortisol goes, you're going to have a lot harder time losing that weight because you're going to end up gravitating doing unhealthy habits choices.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
thinking is going to be completely mismatched. If you're
Yeah.
stressed out, you need to manage that stress. So exercise is definitely huge for stress.
And
So
I,
yes.
another thing, Lori, is interesting because and I'm so glad that you use this term, movement, because I've learned to switch from the word exercise to movement.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of times now, when we say exercise, there's a connection between gym and exercise.
Yes. Yes.
And so I want people to get out of that mindset of that the only way that you can become physically fit is at the gym.
And
I
that's not true.
It is not true. So I thank you so much for reminding us all about the word movement because movement is where it's at.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was 25 years old, yes, it's 2.5 hours in the gym exercising. Plus, I think exercise has a certain word that people attach to it, chore. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes another chore. And like you said, you want to find something that doesn't feel like a chore. You want to find something that you enjoy doing.
Yes. And when you're enjoying doing that, so if the word exercise is not a great word for you, then you alternate it to movement and you get yourself out of that thinking, oh, exercise, I have to exercise. Who has to exercise? Well, do you want to move? Yes, I want to move. So you do that movement. So yeah, eliminating that word exercise is actually a really good idea.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
and just enjoy the movement of moving your body around. And it doesn't have to be any which way. It can be yoga. Like I said, I cook, dance, and as long as you're moving,
yeah,
standing, moving, and just playing with your body. Like, just think of you as when you were like 5 years old and running around. And what did you used to do back in the day, right? Let's bring some of
yeah.
that movement back in as
Hmm.
adults,
Hmm.
and having that playfulness that we've all kind of lost.
Yeah,
I find that we have lost a little bit of that youthfulness within
yeah.
us.
You're absolutely right about that. Absolutely right about that. So, it's interesting because when I was speaking with Shannon the other day, she was on a walking pad as
Yes.
we were doing and that's awesome. So if you can invest in a walking pad while you're doing whatever, you might be watching television,
And there's
walk while
nothing
you're
wrong with
watching
doing that. It's
television.
better than sitting on the couch and being a couch potato.
It's better than Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's better than sitting on the couch. But, you mentioned the word stress, and I think that's something that, in all honesty, Lori, that is overlooked
Yes.
in terms of how that plays, into our hormonal um, activities and imbalances. Um, and like you were saying about sleep and cortisol levels, if you
Mm-hmm.
have something that's too stimulating, to the mind, the cortisol levels are just still going to be, high because of that stimulation. And so you're just going to really train your body to hold on to fat and versus how to release fat. And that's what cortisol, high levels of cortisol, throughout the day does.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that we are paying attention to that. So what's in the future, for Lori Lynn coaching? Because there's like some downloads that people can come to your
Mm-hmm.
website and tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing over there with regards to your downloads, your courses, or whatever.
Yeah. So people can come and download my free um, the 3 secrets to dropping the menopausal weight. So if you go to LoriLynnCoaching.com/guide, you can pick up your free guide there. On my website at LoriLynnCoaching.com, I have my blogs on there. You can book a call with me and you can spend 50 minutes with me and we'll do a breakthrough session to figure out where you're at and to where you want to go. And yeah, we'll create a plan for you. So that's basically where you can find me, and you get all the goodies there.
Good deal, good deal. So I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
even though I'm gonna either have my wife come to your site and download that,
yeah,
or I'll download it and share it with her, whichever one. So if you see a man
yeah.
come across man's name come across your email list, then it's me downloading it for my wife because I think it's good information to know also.
Oh yeah, exactly. And like I said, I walk through in my breakthrough sessions. We walk through where you're at, what you need to achieve, and understand where you need to go. So it's something that I believe everyone should have is an understanding of themselves. And when you
Yeah.
understand yourselves and understand where you want to be in the future, your future self, because I believe you are your best friend. So, and you have to be your own advocate and your own
There we
help.
go. There we go. We have to learn to be our own advocate. That's so important. Thank you so much. Lori, it's been a pleasure. It's been a thrill. And I totally, totally appreciate you giving us some of your time this evening where I am. I don't know where it's at for you guys, but well, it's still afternoon. It's 5:15 or something like
Yeah, it's
that.
in the afternoon here.
Yeah, still a little bit of the afternoon. So still have a little bit of afternoon left. But thank you for so much for giving us some of your time. And I know
Well,
that you're trying to get back to, after coming out of the flu and all that stuff. So thank
yes.
you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you for bearing with my nose and everything, and thank you for, I feel much better now, so I'm all great, but thank you for having me, and I really enjoy it, and I love your work too, so, yes.
Thank you so much. Listen, we have to find out, how we can collaborate, because
Yes, you
there's a
bet.
world out here that we can help. Okay. Because I do believe that, my goodness, at the very least, we have to take care of ourselves, health wise.
100%. We
Yeah.
all need that. You know, we all strive for the same thing, really,
Hmm.
is to be healthy
Yeah.
and happy,
Yeah.
right? That's what
Yeah.
most people want in life. And
Yeah.
just to know that the mind and body are connected and that your future self is waiting for you.
Awesome. I love that. The future self is waiting for us to show up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, like I said, thank you so much. Everybody, go and check her site out, LoriLynnCoaching.com. Is that what you said?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, LoriLynnCoaching.com. So please go ahead and check her out and download her information, her courses and her downloads or what have you. She is out here in the trenches doing her thing, and I want to thank her for doing that. And anyone that comes onto the show, I want to thank them for being out here in the trenches and do what they do. So listen, everybody, like I said, check her out. And once again, like I said in the beginning, go to my website, download also well beyond the 50 foods that we should stop eating after the age of 50. You probably already know what they are, but you're doing it anyway. So just we want to kind of like remind you, okay, and let you read it for yourself. All righty. So everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us for another episode of Living Your Best Life. And I will catch you guys next time. Y'all be good. Peace.
See you later. Bye.